Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here.
Meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel.
Another week, another episode.
Wait, what did you say?
There's a tale told somewhere south of Burma. The tale tells of a man, not a hero or a villain either.
You owe me now. Don't you dare presume to forget that.
A man who, when pushed far enough, retaliated. A man who took on an arm.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you another movie review. This time we're going to be talking about Savage Dog, which came out in 2017 and takes place in 1959 Indochina at a labor camp which was run by Vietnamese warlords and European war criminals. Here at the worst prison in the land, former boxing champion Martin Tillman has made a name for himself fighting tournaments on which wealthy criminals gamble on high-stakes events. Tillman is due for release, but the corrupt forces running the jail will do everything in their power to keep him locked down.
It spilled a river of blood.
So yeah, kind of continuing my series of Scott Adkins or action movies in general reviews. And Savage Dog was kind of the last one I wanted to talk about before getting into his most recent work in this past year in 2018, like Accident Man and, Debt Collector, I guess, and stuff like that. I also got to review the last Boyka film as well. But I'm a fan of Scott Adkins. I think he can be a solid actor, and obviously he's one of the greatest action guys you can have on screen in the business because he can do everything on his own. All the roundhouse kicks, all the flips, all the what have you, and he'll nail it. And of course, his movies aren't usually known for their deep, complex plots. A lot of them tend to be pretty somewhat typical action movie format. They're sort of they're there, the story isn't really the driving force of these movies. I mean, if you like Scott Adkins and can sort of get into his work, you can pretty much watch him do anything, and that's kind of the case here. Although this isn't the worst, it follows a similar structure to what most of his movies do. And at this point I'm kind of getting a bit tired of it. But if you're in the right mood for these movies, you can always see him kick a bunch of guys' asses and find it entertaining for a while. And this isn't the worst of them either. I mean, I do like the period setting in the 50s, the setting in Indochina and stuff like that. Sort of the corruption within the government. It makes it a bit different. Like movies like The First Ninja, especially, as well as I'd say like Hard Target 2 and stuff, they feel like most like a classic throwback to your 80s and 90s action films, which isn't a problem, again, if you're in the right mood for them. And Scott Adkins here, he gives a pretty solid performance. A lot of it is narrated by Keith David, who we'll talk more about in a minute or two here, which is cool. He gives a pretty convincing performance as usual. Of course, the fight scenes, they nail it, of course. Some of them in the fighting pit, which for some reason I didn't put a picture up of, are a bit more simplistic, and I think it kind of makes sense because he's a boxer. He's not supposed to be this, trained assassin or anything like this in this one, so he throws more punches in this. But there's still some good choreography and back and forth at work here. Also, the actor pictured there, he also worked with in one of the Boyka films, which is nice. The director, I think, did a good job with this as well. And then you have Keith David, who a lot of people know from The Thing, alongside Kurt Russell and everything. He played Childs in that movie. He's also known for a lot of other films, so it's a surprise to see him in this. I didn't know he was in this. And I do like the dynamic he has with Adkins. They have a good conversation pictured there. And sort of the small little family they form together with him and Scott Adkins' love interest in this movie, who I think actually did a pretty nice job acting-wise herself. I almost kind of want to see more of their relationship. I feel like it was a little bit underdeveloped. And then her dynamic with one of the main war criminals, and sort of that possible father dynamic, I thought could have been given a bit more attention. But, the movie is what it is. Not a bad time. I think it's one of the more forgettable Adkins films alongside other ones, but it's definitely serviceable and definitely worth watching because there is a really good onslaught of fighting and violence at the end of the movie that really helped it, I think. There's a lot of shotgun blasts as well, and he just goes crazy with this machete, and he could give Jason Voorhees a run for his money. So the final act is pretty damn entertaining if you're in for it. And so overall, if I had to rate this movie, again, everyone's obsessed with percentages these days. So I'd give this one about a C+, which would put it in the range of about 73-78%. I think it's good, I like it. It's just not one of my really favorites of his necessarily. But yeah, I wouldn't give it any lower than 73. And I'd put it maybe around 78, maybe 79 if I see it again. So yeah, let me guys thought about this one. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.